What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and let me tell you something about this situation. Disney is in trouble, okay? Let's make no mistakes about it at all. Disney, okay, the House of Mouse is in a whole lot of trouble right now, okay? I'm not privy to any information, okay? But I'm good at reading the room, reading between the lines, looking at the tea leaves and seeing which way they're shifting, all right? And everything that's been coming out about Disney this particular year when it comes to the moves that Bob Chapek has been trying to make, when it comes to all of the political and social stuff, okay, for this situation to happen the way it's happening in the middle of the night, right? You know, like in the middle of a Sunday night, all of a sudden the old switcheroo happens, okay? Disney is in deep trouble, okay? And they're going to start slowly but surely leaking out information. We got to pay really, really close attention to this situation, more so than we probably normally would. You know, normally you hear about CEO switching, whatever, okay? But this one, Bob Iger coming back, you know, replacing Bob Chapek, a dude he didn't like at all, okay? And then, you know, he's coming back just not even a year, okay? Now this guy just all of a sudden just kind of swoops back in the dead of the night. This situation is interesting. Let's go ahead and check it out. I've been listening to like podcasts on this thing. I've been listening to live streams. I saw Valiant Renegades live stream, great live stream. Heard from Nerdrotic and heard his opinions. I got some thoughts of my own I'm gonna share. But let's go ahead and get into this. So former CEO Bob Iger is returning to lead the studio as Chapek is out after less than a year of taking over. So let's read what this says. Of course, this is on Screen Rant. Says it's a developing story to check back as they'll be adding more information as it becomes available. So less than a year, right? Less than a year after he had left, Iger is back. He's returning to head up the House of Mouse as Chapek departs the position. Now, my big question is, did he get fired? Okay. Or did he step away on his own? He says, you know what? It's too much BS going on over here. Deuces. I'm out the door. Is that what happened? That's what I want to know. I want to know under what circumstances did Bob Chapek leave this particular position? Did he ask to leave? Was he forced out? What the situation is, that's what I'm interested to find out. Iger headed up the iconic Hollywood studio for over a decade. We probably already know this stuff. He picked up Pixar, Lucasfilm, and Marvel Entertainment along the way. Of course, he purchased 20th Century Fox. He also kickstarted Disney Plus as well. That's a big one that he actually put together. After his successful tenure with the studio, Iger announced his decision to retire in early 2020, right, as the Disney CEO, although it appears this may no longer be the case. Hollywood Reporter brought word that former Disney CEO Bob Iger is officially returning to the studio as Chapek leaves the job. No specific details were offered regarding the job changes. A statement released to the publication indicated the studio's feeling that Iger is better suited to handling the company amid the ongoing pandemic troubles in comparison to his successor. And then this is what Susan Arnold had to say. We thank Bob Chapek for his service to Disney over his long career, including navigating the company through the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic. The board has concluded that as Disney embarks on an increasingly complex period of industry transformation, Bob Iger is uniquely situated to lead the company through this pivotal period. So I'm not going to try to read too much into what she's saying because it kind of sounds like they're saying, well, we figured out that Disney is embarking on this, you know, complex period and we're going to go to Bob Iger. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the reason that Bob Chapek left, okay? It could be that Chapek just said, I'm out. Deuces. You guys are crazy, you know, people over here, and I'm not dealing with it, and I'm out of here, okay? And one of the reasons that I think this, I read this article, and I didn't do a video about it, but I actually had read this article back earlier this year. Let me show you this. So it says here, giant investors pushing Disney into a culture war, Woke Incorporated author says. Now, this was back in April of 2022, so about 7 months ago. But you guys remember what was going on around that time, right? It was the whole Don't Say Gay bill that was coming out, and there was all of this controversy about in Florida, okay, where Bob Chapek basically originally said nothing, right? Remember, he said nothing about this. He didn't want to be brought into it. He didn't have a word about it. All of a sudden, all the employees and everybody else started banging down the doors. And that's what this particular article kind of talks about, because eventually Bob Chapek did make his public statement as the CEO of Disney about that whole situation. And that completely got Disney in hot water, right? Vivek Ramaswamy makes the case that corporations should not wade into politics, asserted that the enormous money managers that have invested heavily in the Disney and other companies are calling some of the shots when it comes to corporate political forays, such as the one Disney is engaged in. Remember, it said here, Disney initially did not take a position on the legislation which would ban classroom instruction on sexual orientation and so on through the third grade, but under pressure, the company has since voiced its full-throated opposition. You know, Bob Chapek's hand was forced by activist employees who complained and demonstrated against Disney's neutrality on the matter. Ramaswamy contends that Chapek's decision was moved by more than just employee pushback. And then he points out here that Disney's three largest shareholders, who own basically 15% of the company, are BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. And these are large asset managers in the U.S., and he says they are directly influencing Chapek's moves. Okay, so you got to start thinking, why did this guy step away? Okay, was he forced out? Was he forced out by these guys? Okay, did these guys tell him, hey, you're doing too much, you need to get lost? All right, was he tired of the pressure? That's why I think that there's more to it than, well, you know, the Disney brass just thought that Bob Iger would be a better choice, you know, and it could be that Bob Iger himself, you know, kind of forced his way back in. Because it says here that these are the guys that they quietly tell them that these are the exact kind of social agendas they want to see them push. If you're a CEO in a public company today, you find yourself sandwiched not just between your progressive woke employees. It's that when you look at your alleged bosses, the shareholders, they're actually quietly whispering in your ear that they want you doing the same things too. So it runs far deeper and it's far more complicated. I think that's really where we're going to start to see the truth of this thing come out. It's going to come out because these bigger companies were trying to push this same stuff. Bob Chapek probably just said, you know what? I'm out. I don't want to deal with this. Why? Why would I? Why would anybody want to deal with all of that nonsense? I just want to make a good company make money, you know? And he was on his way to doing that, right? You know, we saw this not just less than a week ago. You know, Disney plans layoffs, rigorous review of spending and hiring freeze. Tough, uncomfortable decisions are coming. Remember, I did that little one-off video when I was on vacation in Chicago. I'll go ahead and link that above and you can check that out. But yeah, Chapek was like, hey, yo, we got to start changing up some stuff, right? And, you know, and we kind of ragged on him, saying, you guys should have been done this. We were on you guys for the very beginning, okay? The fans were telling you, hey, you guys are doing this thing all the way wrong. And that's the thing about Disney that I don't think even Chapek or Iger understands really, is that you can't be so beholden to your employees, to your little inner circle, and even to your shareholders, right? Because ultimately your shareholders, yeah, they're your customer in one sense, but you're an entertainment company, okay? You're a hospitality company, and your focus should be on being hospitable to the people, the paying customers, the ones going to movies and buying Disney Plus and going to your theme parks. Those are the people that you need to listen to, okay? Because ultimately, regardless of how much money these other guys give you, they want a return on their investment. That's why they're putting money into the company. And a return on their investment from movie ticket sales, from park sales, from all the merch sales, from everything that comes with that. If you're not giving them that, I mean, they're going to pull the plug. They're like, hey, man, give me my money. Let me go ahead and invest it over here somewhere. It didn't make sense to me that they wouldn't listen to their real customers, okay, which are folks like you and me. That didn't make any sense to me. And honestly, it probably didn't make any sense to Bob either, okay? That's why he says, hey, we got to review. We got to review what's going on here. We got to see what's happening here. We can't keep going down this path. And remember, the first thing he mentioned in this letter when he sent that out to all of the employees, the first thing he mentioned is a rigorous review of the company's content and marketing spending, okay? He wanted to find something that was going to be both efficient and come with tangible benefits to both audiences and the company. He understood that, yeah, I got to do what's right by the company, but I got to do what's right by the audience, okay? The audience is really the customer. These guys over there at BlackRock, they're investing money because they want a return on their investment, all right? They can tell you, yeah, we'll pull all of this money out if you don't give us whatever, this, that, social agenda messaging and all that kind of stuff. But if you do that, and by doing so, you effectively destroy the content that you're pushing out through all of that, what did you achieve? Nothing. BlackRock can just easily take their money and invest it somewhere else. That's all they are. Just put my money over here. Disney doesn't seem to get it right or whatever. They'll probably be investing in some other company. That does give a return on their investment. Okay? So to me, that was always backwards at thinking anyway, you know. But nevertheless, folks, That's where we're at right now with Disney. Disney right now I think they're in big trouble. I think that they got heavily invested in the wokeness, okay? And then along comes a guy that's just looking at the numbers like Bob Chapek, and he's like, hey, this ain't working no more. We're gonna have to do a spending and hiring freeze. We're gonna have to make some tough and uncomfortable decisions. Chapek was willing to do all of that stuff. And then with Iger coming in, is Iger gonna be the one that kind of steps in and says, okay, we're gonna do all of this stuff that Bob Chapek was about to do? What's gonna happen with that, right? Like, frankly, I think the only thing that would save Disney at this point would be just a complete cleaning of the company, right? Kind of like what Elon Musk is doing over there at Twitter. Okay, just cleaning house. Got to get all of this nonsense out of here, and we just got to get the cats that know what they're doing, and we got to start from scratch. I think that's what they needed to do at Disney, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. It seems like the powers that be were strong enough to get this dude out of the way, and so now you're getting a guy in there, and it's just going to be more of the same. I think Disney is irredeemable at this point. Okay. Not that to say that this thing is going to crash and burn, okay? Disney is the biggest owner of pop culture right now in this country. You know, not just talking about Marvel and Star Wars, okay? That's the movies and television and all that kind of stuff. We get that, okay? They also own Pixar, of course. They own ESPN, right? From the sports side of things, the biggest sports company probably in the entire world. And then they also own ABC News. They produce news, they produce sports programming, okay, along with a lot of cultural touchstones like Marvel and Star Wars, okay? So you're talking about the biggest owner of pop culture in this country. And what they've been doing over the past, 10 to 12 years is strongly pushing woke ideology out there on all of their platforms, okay? On everything from the sports to the movies and everything in between, okay? They've been pushing that. But you also have this pushback coming from the other side of the country, okay? From the folks that don't agree with that, all right? Folks like you and me. We're looking at this stuff like, hey, man, this is trash, okay? We don't want to see this. We don't want to hear this. We're just here for the entertainment, okay? Take care of the fans. Listen to the fans. You won't go wrong. We've been saying this stuff over these same past 10 to 12 years, and it's fallen on deaf ears. I think at this point, Disney is irredeemable, okay? And you forget like all of the stuff I just named. I heard like the parks are just as bad, right? Like I forgot to mention the Disney parks, and they're just as bad for a lot of people. So I think Disney is irredeemable. I don't know what's going to happen with this company, but I have a feeling that right now they're in huge trouble, and I don't think they're going to get out of this thing with unscathed. Like Chapek was trying to toe the line between getting woke without going broke. Okay. I think he was trying to tippy toe along those lines, trying to play both sides, appeal to both sides. And he failed. He totally failed. And right now, my spidey sense is just telling me Disney with Bob Iger is really just going to try to double down on his creatives, kind of elevate them over making money. Okay. And think that everything's going to come clean. Okay. But the thing I don't think Bob Iger and Disney are thinking about is that we're about to go through like some major financial issues, okay? Major financial problems are coming. Everybody can see it like, it's clear as crystal. So what's going to happen with this? Man, this is just so fascinating, folks. You guys go ahead, jump down. Let me know what you think about this entire situation. Bob Chapek out, Bob Iger in. How's that going to affect everything that we know about Disney? Go ahead, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.